Welcome. Today what we are going to do, we're going to look at the edited ping file that we just cleaned up, and we are going to go in and create all the different masks that we need for our display. So just to explain what the masks do, when you're working in After Effects, you're going to have to be doing layers. And with those layers, you're going to want to make sure that the videos that you put in don't expand over some of the lines. So if you want a video just playing in the garage, the left door, you can do that. If you just want a video playing on a certain section of your house, you can do that. If you want to do it for the gutters and so forth, you can do that. One of the major ones that you want to make sure you have is the mask that covers the outside of the house, like this area out here. So that way when you're playing it, it's not shining all over the trees and everything, because that makes it look like you are just projecting an image out onto the house instead of an image that is customized to your house. So let's get started. The first thing that I'm going to do, these lights I like, but they kind of get in the way when you're masking, so that's going to be my first step. So I opened everything up here. I'm going to have this as my layer, and I'm going to rename this to template lines. Essentially what that's going to be is my base layer. Just if you are kind of new to Photoshop, I should probably cover this. These are where all of your layers will start. To begin and create a new layer, you'll do that down here. To add a new layer, we will be working on that. To hide and show layers, you click the eyeball that's next to them. You can see that there are all the little squares here. That means that it is transparent. When I turn this on, you have a white background, which means that it's white. Over on this left side, one of the big tools that you're going to use is this magic wand tool. And if you click on it, you should be able to see like quick selection, object selection. We don't have to worry about that. Just keep magic wand chosen. So let's get started. I'm going to create the big outside mask. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click here, and you'll see that everything kind of is marching ants going around. That's actually what they literally call it, the marching ants. If your marching ants kind of go inside your house, that means that you have a leak somewhere in that edited, cleaned up file. So just go back and clean up that leak. Keep in mind, if there's a little jut out like I have right here, you're going to hold the shift key, and if you look at my magic wand, it added a plus sign. That means that I'm going to add this other section in. So I held my shift and I clicked, and that added. If I hold the option key, and this is on a Mac, then this will get rid of that section. So I actually do want it, so I'm going to re-click. This now has everything on the outside of my screen. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go down, create a new layer, and I'm going to name this my whole house layer. Alright, I'm going to hit enter, turn off my template, and this is the easy part. You go over to your paintbrush, make sure that it is black, and you're going to want this nice and big. So just keep holding the right bracket, or you can go up to the top here and change it up here. So once you have it nice and big, you're going to click and drag, and you will see that the outside of my house, or outside of the house, has now turned fully black. And I'm going to click over here just to kind of click off of it, and my first mask is done. So you're going to turn this mask off, and you're going to turn this template lines mask back on, and re-click on this layer. because we want to edit this layer. This one is actually completely done. Now we get to decide what we want to do next. So next, let's just have the gutters. An easy way to do this, you're going to take your magic select tool, you're going to click inside the gutters, hold shift inside, and inside here as well. So now that I have all of these clicked, I'm going to go create a new layer, turn off my template lines, rename this layer to gutters, and now if I take my paintbrush tool and I go to paint now, it made my gutters black. I don't want that, so I'm going to hit Control Z or Command Z. Command Z for Mac, Control Z for Windows. Essentially, it's the same thing as going Edit and down to Undo, which is right up here. Okay, so I'm going to now hold Shift, Command, and I, and what that did, you can see the marching ants around this outside. That selected the inverse. So now when I click and drag my paintbrush over, I now have just the gutters empty. You can also select the inverse. I forget exactly where it is as I'm looking. Let me just go through real quick. So under the select inverse right here, so is Shift, Command, and I. You'll be doing it a lot, so just learn your shortcut. It will make it a lot easier. Gutters are now down. Okay, so I'm going to turn that off. Turn on template lines, click back on this layer, don't forget that part. And now I'm going into the next thing. So I like to do this second floor. That's one, so I have my second floor chosen. I'm going to turn this off, create a new layer. Second floor. I'm going to select the paintbrush tool. Remember that I'm now painting on the inside. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to hold Shift, Command, and I. That selects the inverse. You can see the marching ants on the outside. I'm going to paint, and now my second floor is done. Turn that off. Template lines back on. Whoops. If you ever make a mistake, just hit Command Z or undo. All right. Going back to my magic wand tool, let's do the garage doors next. This one's going to get kind of tricky, at least for me, because I have this area here and like all the little panels, and I just want the entire garage mask. So a little earlier I said that the lights are kind of going to get in your way, so I'm going to do those right now. So I'm going to select my lights. So click, shift, click, and hold shift, click. Now I'm going to go out, turn this off, new layer, name that layer lights, and I'm going to get the paintbrush, Command Shift I, select the inverse, and now I have my light layer. Still not exactly sure what I'm going to do or if I'm going to use it, but at least I have it there. So going into template lines. All right. Now, since I told you it was going to kind of get in my way because it kind of blocks there, I'm just going to go ahead and erase them now because I have what I need from it. So I'm going to use my paintbrush, shrink down the size, and paint it white to get rid of it. Going over white. Now if you look, this one kind of got into the garage door, so I'll just repair that real quick. As long as they're pretty close, you're good. Alright, I'll take my black, make it nice and small. There you go, like it was never there. Alright, so now I zoomed back out, and I'm going to just keep making my way through the different layers that I want. One of the layers I want is just the circles that are up on top of the house. So I'm going to select these, holding shift, turn it off, create a new layer. I turned off template lines, created a new layer. The layer's name is going to be circles. I'm going to select the inverse and paint it out. Now I have to remember to make my paintbrush nice and big because I did shrink it before. You want to make it nice and big so that way you're not playing this game like trying to, fill the whole thing in. Just save yourself some time, make it big, and do a nice swipe across, and then you don't have to play any games with it. And so you're going to continue through and create all the masks that you need for your house. Oh, I wanted to show you the garage. I apologize. Let's turn that off. So for the garage, I might use a different tool because I want to select just the door itself. So this left door. So I'm going to go over and hit quick selection tool. This tool is actually really nice if you're getting into like the photography, editing, that kind of thing. It makes selecting a lot easier. Essentially all you're doing is clicking and dragging across, and it looks a little like off up here on the top, but once you let go, it usually gets you pretty close. So you can just click and add as you go. Your masks don't have to be super perfect, but you want them pretty close to straight lines so they don't look all jagged. So here we go. I have my mask here. I'm going to turn this off, create a new layer. I'm going to name it left garage. Select the inverse. And I'm going to paint it black. All right, so you're going to continue doing that to your house. If you have anything like cameras like I do, I have like one right here and right there, just do your best to try to leave those circles black, so that way it really does hold out all the light from that area. You could even just create that as a mask and put that as your highest layer, and then it will keep it cleaned up on your video file export as well. If you have any questions about creating masks, please let me know. If you check out the comments, I'll have the list of masks that I use for my house. You might need all of them. You might need, only a few of them. You might have different ones than I do. The biggest thing is making sure you have them labeled correctly. Having them labeled correctly is going to make the process a lot easier for you when you go to create your files. If you look at my 2019 mask file, you'll see that I have all of them labeled first floor, second floor, and it's really easy to pull from when I'm going to be creating my video. I know exactly what I'm looking for. So this list you'll find in the comments, and hopefully everything helps you out. The next video is actually going to be a really short one, but I separated it out. What you're going to be doing is going over the process to just export each one of these masks. I hope this was helpful. As always, like, subscribe, leave a comment if you have any questions. If you're just thankful, you can leave a comment in there as well. Enjoy your day, and thank you for watching.